guys, welcome back to the Ask for Speed channel. I'm Jason Speed here at the AutoNation USA in Wesley Chapel, bringing you another episode of Speed's pre-owned reviews. And today I'm bringing you something that's truly electrifying.
See what I did there?
It's the 2022 Porsche Taycan 4S. Let's see if this sporty EV can live up to the legendary performance that is Porsche. Now let's talk powertrain. There's no point of looking under the hood because the Taycan 4S is an electric vehicle. It does have two electric motors, one for each axle, giving it all-wheel drive, and with the Performance Battery Plus, you're going to get 562 horsepower, bringing the 0 to 60 down to just under 4 seconds. It has a 227-mile range, and a fast charger that can go from 5% to 80% in less than 23 minutes using the 270 kilowatt DC fast charger. All right, guys, so this is the point of view sitting in the driver's seat. There is a lot to talk about, so stay with me here. Okay, so left to right, top to bottom, like I always do. Of course, you can see those 3 dots on the mirror for the blind spot monitoring system. You move down to the door, you have 3 driver seat preferences or memory seats. Lock and unlock, of course. There's always the where are those buttons when you get into the car for the first time. You have auto up, auto down on all 4 windows. Really nice feature, really like that a lot. You do have your left and right mirror select for angling the mirror and directional, folding the mirrors, and then window lock if you have those tiny toddlers in the back. Okay, so behind the steering wheel, you can see this 16.9-inch curved digital driver display. This thing is incredible. I feel like this driver display could be a whole video by itself. So I was playing with some of the options, and it's really cool how you can change any one of these screens to the information from the G-force. You have the tire info, traffic signs, assistance systems, things like that. You have the speedometer that gives you the power output as you're driving. You could also change it from power meter to the navigation. I'll show you how that looks. It looks really cool. You still have the speedometer up top with the mile range down below. From the map to the extended map, where you take away both the other sides. From the extended map to the reduced, where it's just the speedometer, you could really have however you'd like. On this one, you could change that to the navigation. I'll just show you. To the information, media, drive modes. You can actually have the timer. That's what the Sport Carno is the timer, the trip, and the navigation, like the turn by turn pop up in the cluster. So ton of options on the driver information display. You do have buttons on the curve, like it's a touchscreen as well. So you can turn your traction off. You can turn the sport suspension on. You could lower or raise the suspension. You could even do the 360-degree view with the camera. But just a load of options that you have on the curved 16.9-inch digital driver display. So really, really cool. On the steering wheel, I'm gonna move the steering wheel back up so you can see. It is a telescopic full power steering wheel. So you can move it to any spot you'd like it for where you're comfortable at. Legendary gold Porsche shield right on the steering wheel, looks phenomenal. On the left side of the steering wheel, you do have voice control with volume, radio options as far as like media options, and then regenerative braking is also there on the left, the volume dial. On the right, you have phone call. You can back out of the menu. You can scroll through the menu, or even select which screen you want on the right there. You do have the wipers on the right-hand side. The turn signals, of course, are on the left. And down below, you have cruise control. And then on the bottom right, you have the drive modes, where you can turn that down and select whatever drive mode you like to be in. Now, on the infotainment system, this is a super, super nice system that was actually pretty easy to figure out. I didn't I didn't Google a bunch of stuff. I just sat in here and played with stuff for a minute, and it's really cool. So you have a 10.9-inch touchscreen up here. You have an 8.4-inch touchscreen here. And what's especially nice about this is that while that's a touchscreen, you could use this as a trackpad to control different things on here that you can navigate through without having to reach up and touch it. It's ergonomically, it's all right there. You can control whatever you like from this screen. You can swipe through the different screens. So you have lots of control from that screen without having to reach up and touch it. But again, it is a touch screen, so you can do that if you'd like to as well. The 8.4-inch screen is going to control your climate, and you also have volume control and self-parking assist. You can open up any of the ports or doors on, not the passenger doors, but any of the charging ports, one on either side. The front trunk, the front, or the rear, you can open those up as well or close them. So it's really nice that you have that control. And then you also have where you can see the battery level right at your fingertips as well. Anytime you'd like to see how much mileage you have. You do have it down low, but you have it here where you can see it as well. Cup holders and a okay size console. It does have the wireless charger on here as well. That's really nice. But the optional display, which looks like another exact same display as this, is the 10.9-inch passenger display, which gives your passenger more control and interaction with all of the radio and infotainment functions. Super, super nice. So up top you have, of course, the dome lights, the power dimming, the auto dimming mirror, a nice ambient lighting in there as well for shining onto the infotainment system at night. You have this really cool race style clock that has the analog second timer, but the digital time down below, if you can see that. The gear select is right here up on the right. Flip it up for reverse, flip it down for drive, and then push the button for park. And then there is a really cool, I'll show you this way. There's a really cool pass-through area here that it's not very big area. You're probably only going to be able to fit like a phone, a wallet, or maybe your wife's clutch or something like that in that area. But still nice to have that where it's not just wasted space. You can actually use it for something. So vents are very cool, very nicely placed right here between the screens, right next to the hazard button, and then on the sides of both of the dash. But the Taycan is equally impressive inside as it is outside. Of course, you have that phenomenal red leather interior with the Porsche shield in the headrest. And then one thing that I really, really like is because there's not really a place to put your sunglasses or anything like that. But in the door, I'm going to open the door so you can see. In the door, there's actually like a felted or like a soft touch material in there. So if you do have your sunglasses or your driving gloves or whatever you want to put in there, there's a space on the driver door or even on the passenger side, the same thing, where you can put those and they won't get scratched up. Okay, so now let me show you the back seats. There's not a ton of space, but I think with moving the seats up just a little bit, you can get a couple of grown adults back there. If you're double dating for date night, if you got the kids with you, again, not a ton of space, but something I think you could do. What I will mention is that the back seats are actually easier to get into, have a little bit of a wider open space between the pillars. But the front seat has this massive pillar, which really is the only thing that I don't like about the car, is the way you get in and out. You can see, just looking here from the entry, you can't even see the back of the seat because the pillar is so massive. But I mean, once you're in there, and it only takes a second or two to get out. So you do have I believe it's 12-way seat controls with lumbar and under leg support with that piece there coming out. It's just a little bit awkward getting in and out with that giant pillar, but it works. It makes sense. All right, guys, so I want to take you real quick to show you the rear cargo space. It does have a pretty fair amount of space. I always think golf bags when I look at high-end cars like this. I would think you can get a golf bag in there this way versus sideways. There is a couple of storage spots down below, and even one underneath. Not a ton of space left to right, but I do think you probably can get some golf bags in the long way. I do like that you can open this with the key fob, and then you would just close it with the button. But that's the rear cargo space. All right, so now we're gonna take it for a drive. When I was playing with the settings, I did find a setting for the electronic sound to turn on, so it'll sound like more like a sports car versus the quiet EV that you would expect it to sound like. So that'll be interesting to see. That is actually really nice. That sounds so cool. All right, let's take it for a drive. Hopefully I have the camera set up. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds really good. Okay, so hopefully I have the camera set up to where it won't fall. That is always the hope. I do have the armrest of the rear back seat sitting on top of like the locking point of the tripod, so hopefully. I'm not going to floor it. But man, this thing is cool. It is so nice. Of course, Porsches are just built for performance. They're a legend on track. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. All right, so there are a handful of driving modes. There's normal, sport, sport plus, individual. They all adjust the throttle response, the height, the suspension, according to how you want the vehicle to perform. If you'd like that stiffer ride, then sport will be the ride for you. If you'd like more of a looser, more of a comfortable ride, then maybe normal would be the preferred driving mode for you. It's got a super low center of gravity due to the battery placement, and it's got adaptive air suspension for smooth and sporty driving feel, of course. Handles like a dream. Oh my God, this is too nice of a car. After you're driving it, you will quickly ignore how awkward it is to get in and out of this thing, because this is way better than I anticipated. I would just leave that whir sound thing on there all the time. So this also has Porsche's recuperation management, which is part of the regenerative braking, where when you let off the accelerator, it starts to slow down as if you apply the brakes, and puts that kinetic energy back into the battery. It has really cool features like the Porsche dynamic chassis control for a sharp cornering and better handling feel. I mean, this is just... Before this car, I've never understood the appeal behind Porsche. They're a good-looking car, but there's no wow factor from what I've generally seen. Yes, they're fast. There's lots of fast cars, and they're probably one of the fastest. But when you get in, they're just kind of underwhelming as far as how nice they are inside. This squashes that. I mean, it is... I may not get any work done today. Oh my God, it just... Coming out of the corner, it is like... It's so smooth. You have to come and see this car. I can't even describe how smooth it is. It's so nice. Not very many cars, as far as the driving experience, leave me speechless. I don't know what else to talk about with this thing. It's so nice. So I'm gonna pull back into the dealership and give you my outro. But if it's a rating, this would be very, very high on the rating, in the 9s. So there you have it, an in-depth look at the 2022 Porsche Taycan 4S. This car impressed me a lot more than I thought it would, and it's a lot of fun to drive. If you'd like to come in and check it out yourself, comment on this video, shoot me a text, give me a call, find a way to get in touch with me about this car. And I appreciate you guys watching this video all the way to the end, and your continued support and helping the channel grow. If you wouldn't mind liking, commenting, and especially subscribing if you haven't already to the channel, we'll see you guys in the next Speeds Pre-Owned reviews.